Cynthia. I hope you're doing well, and welcome to episode 4 of Everyday Soul, the podcast about balancing real life and real growth. In today's show, we're talking about spiritual awakening and how you may be one of millions right now experiencing this shift. I'm super excited for you to meet our special guest. He's an award-winning songwriter, a producer, a seasoned performer, teacher, and fellow soul seeker, Justin Froese. As a writer, a poet, a performer, a producer, he's a spiritual warrior in how he chooses to live his life. We're going to be talking about how it is precisely in the moments when we feel the rug has been pulled out from under us. That's when the real breakthroughs come in. So stick around. We're going to be examining real life and real growth as an everyday soul.
Yeah, everyday soul. Yeah, everyday soul.
Hey there, Justin. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to Everyday Soul.
Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you for having me.
How are you doing? Tell me about you.
I'm doing good. I'm doing pretty good. You know, it's like ups and downs, right? And I'm on the roller coaster too. I haven't felt like barfing yet on the roller coaster, but we all have different experiences of it. And sometimes the first go around is like, what did I sign up for? But the second time is like, okay. And so, yeah, maybe what's formed my capacity or my aptitude for, adapting to this change relates to my spiritual path. And it probably does. I often don't think of that, like, kind of like how Bob Dylan doesn't think much of himself as a songwriter. You know, he just doesn't.
Oh, well, speaking of spiritual paths and also spiritual practice, at some point in all of our lives, your eyes go upward, right? And you're just like, okay, I cannot not know my truth. I have to know who I am, what I'm doing here. And that connection is that connection to Source. When did you first get that knock that, you know, there was more to your life than just the 3D world? How was it introduced to you, and how's it evolved since you've been on the journey?
Wow.
Let's just get down to it.
Yeah. Interesting to think back and wonder, was there a one aha moment? And for me, you know, I don't really recall one right now. I was raised as a Christian Scientist. A lot of people have some awareness of that and also have some confusion with Scientology. They're different, but I don't see myself as identifying that way. But those ideas were hugely formative, and they're a part of how I see the world. And for me, my takeaway of some of those basic ideas was everything is consciousness. And it all begins first in your thought. Mm-hmm. And the idea there is that, like, you take out all the things between you and God, or you and Source, so that you have a direct connection. And so to grow up that way and then watch, you know, society and pop culture and pop spirituality all get to this place where everyone's like on that bandwagon. They're like, yeah, everything's your thought. It's like, well, that's cool.
Wow,
that's
your parents were really cool. I mean, let me ask you, what is your spiritual practice? I know you do yoga because we've practiced together, and like, how's your daily routine as far as it goes with meditation or whatever you're doing?
Oof. Yeah, I mean, funny enough for me, and I gather for many other people in this sort of pandemic quarantine time, spiritual practices have amplified and have increased, and for me been more consistent than ever. And what I do daily is, at the minimum, journal 1 page. I like to journal 3, and that comes from The Artist's Way, a book by Julia Cameron.
I know it. Yes, a great book, yeah.
And just that if you keep moving that pen and you don't stop, it's not about the outcome. It does something within you. It like rearranges the tangles and the blocks
Tell us like how you do it. First thing in the morning, is it like a consciousness dump, or is it, how do you do it?
Yeah. The intention is that it's a consciousness dump. Okay. It's like start, keep moving, don't stop moving the pen, even if you have to write blah, blah, blah. Because what you're doing is you're taking this channel and you're holding it open, and you're gonna like leave it held open, and that it's just working that muscle.
Yeah.
And so a lot of like junk comes through, but that doesn't matter. And I think for me that's part of the point, is like, okay, don't get attached to what may come through. Don't get so precious and cautious and careful that you clamp down on expression because like some crap may come through. And that is huge, because there's so much that we stop from coming through.
Tell me about it. For the fear of even just embarrassing yourself by reading what you wrote, later. Like when you go back and read something, you're like, gosh, am I stupid or what?
Isn't that wild, that internal thing where I've noticed in this practice that like there are things I can feel coming up, and I'm not yet writing them. I'm kind of writing around them, and I'm about to write about it, but I won't let myself. And I'm like, this is my freaking journal. Yeah. No one's going to read this. How come I can't write it? And just to encounter that,
brother, it is like that fear of being judged.
Yeah. The second thing is my girlfriend Aura is a practicing Buddhist, and of Nichiren Buddhism. That was from like a Japanese monk from the 13th century. And so naturally I've taken interest in her spiritual practice, as I do in all the people around me. And just the other day I was like, oh, wait, I'm a practicing Buddhist, because I chant. I've been doing chants. You just repeat it, for however long you like. I try to go 6 to 12 minutes. Again, I'm such a student of vibration, so I get that.
The sacred sound, it's the words that for generations and years and years and years carry that vibration, because they have been done solemnly. I mean, they've been sung solemnly, and prayers are like that too. Like you just say a prayer, and all of a sudden you're carried into that vibration of that prayer, because so many people have said it in a time of when they needed it.
That's beautiful.
So I think what you say is so it does speak to, the path of Buddhism, whatever your religious beliefs. The central thing about Buddhism that is so true is that we're human beings and we are going to suffer. So we have to learn how we're going to suffer,
what we're going to choose in that experience. And that's been something so beautiful and perfect in the timing of all that. And this pandemic there's these like ideas within that of doing everything with joy, and like such a great reminder of like, okay, I have a choice today. How can I do everything with the most joy possible, and let that be like my guiding principle? And there's this other idea of fulfill all your wishes, like you pray to fulfill all your wishes, and I'm like, whoa, wait, what are my wishes? Like, I should know those. Like, I want to know those. Oh, I can wish. I can have wishes. Like, I could just have them. Oh, wow.
Giving yourself permission.
Yeah.
Permission to dream. It's the powerful thing about having wishes. But you've reminded me of one of my favorite quotes, and it's by the Dalai Lama. Can I read it to you right now? And it's just so perfectly just dovetails with what you're saying. And this is how I try to live my life. I'm not a Buddhist, but I am, familiar with some of the practices, and I love this quote. So let me read it now. It's, every day, think as you wake up, say, today I'm fortunate to be alive. I have a precious human life, and I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to use all my energies to develop myself, to expand my heart out to others, to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all beings. And I'm going to have kind thoughts toward others. I'm not going to get angry or think badly about others. I'm going to benefit others as much as I can.
Wow.
And you were just speaking about the beauty of just, just putting that out there. Just kind of like that do no harm thing, and just doing what you need to do, expressing yourself joyfully, and knowing that you don't know who you're going to touch actually with whatever you're doing, but you are touching others.
Right. But do you want to touch them with joy or with fear or anger, And one thing I do with all the artists I work with is we make a permission slip, because we realize that it's needed, that we're waiting for permission to be our full artist, to express ourselves, to just go for it, to have that bravery. And so I suggest that for everyone. I mean, really, we're all artists. We're all creating with some sort of medium our life, we're multi-mediums. And so that permission slip is, I give myself permission to, and you fill it in, and you like to create. Or I give myself permission to make joy a priority today. I give myself permission to listen to the little wisdoms that come to me and make space for them. And just saying it, just granting it, letting words maybe be powerful, because they can be, right?
Wow, you're blowing my mind with that idea of giving yourself a permission slip.
If something's not happening in your life, start there.
Love it.
And
what a practical thing that all of us can do without having to be a writer, a journaler, or anything. Yeah. Just make that one little sheet, write it down, and where do you put it then? You just hold on to it, you stack it?
Yeah, write it out and put it somewhere where you can see it, and you're going to read it every day and have it in view. And you can even say, I'm going to read it, kind of first thing in the morning, like in the first hour. And just know that when you do that, eventually that gets folded into you. We look at these great artists that just create, and these great spiritual masters that just put themselves in this state, right? They've given themselves permission, but it's been so folded into who they are, they don't need to look at it anymore. So just use this tool, and it's okay. Have this tool to remind you, and then it's going to become a part of you. It
becomes part of your sacred vibration. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
That's
what you
really
repeat, it continues. It folds into you. So
that's really cool. So you've told us about your chanting, and I think there was one other thing that you're doing daily that you said has really pulled you through.
Honestly, one has been exercise. I've exercised more than I ever have, because I know for myself that I need that movement. I need some sort of activity that's less cerebral. I need to just be in my body in some way. And, I do a fast interval, high intensity thing that lasts 15 minutes, and it does it for me. But I know I need to do that so that maybe things that are feeling stuck emotionally, or that I just don't have access to, but I sense them, that helps give them movement or lead to more movement and freedom within.
I think it's really cool how a songwriter writing a song right then and there is kind of like a spiritual practice, right?
Totally. First of all, music as this universal language, everything is vibration. It's all this moving, pulsing, alive thing, and the music is that sound. It's the feeling, it's the movement of life expressed in sound. And I think that's the strongest thing. Science is important, math, all these things, they're really important for understanding our world. But when it comes down to it, you could transmit everything that you needed to for survival and thriving on this earth through music, is what I believe.
I love that.
Yeah.
That is so perfect. I think we could just end right here, but we're not going to. That was just a gorgeous statement you made, Justin Froese.
Thank you.
So your poetry, in the way that you speak, is obviously a direct reflection of how you think. Your songs are obviously coming from that part of you that is poetry in your soul. So can we hear some of that coming out in the sound of your guitar and your beautiful voice.
Sure, of course.
All right, let's hear a song.
Okay, this song is called Where to Start, and I wrote it when I was having a hard time just figuring out what I was doing with life and what was next. And I think I was learning at this time that sometimes when things are breaking down, like, that's what you need, and it's a huge turning point. So this is called Where to Start. How does this end? How does this go? How did we start? How did we know? Thinking backwards as I'm moving on. So nothing changes if you don't decide. It can be better, better. What is this better, better? It's hard to see how things can get better. That's why I'm stuck, I'm frozen like a stone to the breeze. Heavy sinking and overthinking and sinking to my knees. Now I'm cracking, crumbling, who I am is falling apart. I'm broken down and just all around. Don't know where to start. Don't know where to start. It's a strange release when you know you're stuck. It comes the shame 'cause you messed up. Getting tired of that same old song. Keep thinking things might change if we just hold on. Yeah, they could be better, better. Where is this better, better? It's hard to see how things can get better. That's why I'm stuck, I'm frozen like a stone to the breeze. Heavy sinking and overthinking and sinking to my knees. Now I'm cracking, I'm crumbling, who I am is falling apart. I'm broken down and just all around. Don't know where to start. Tell me there's a better way out. The letting go the end of my road. Such a strange design that every time we break before we're better. Maybe it's better that I was stuck, frozen like a stone to the breeze. Heavy sinking and overthinking and sinking to my knees. When I'm cracking, crumbling, and I just want to be whole. Well, I'll take what's left of my weeping breath. Now this is where to start. This is where to start. This is where to start. Who I am is where to start.
So Justin and I I'm floored at how very meaningful this song is right now in this time. You wrote this how long ago?
I don't know, 5 years
A
ago.
long time ago. But
Yeah.
you obviously have known this place that a lot of us are in right now, this feeling of being stuck. I mean, because we've been in our energies without all the distractions, and we're all faced with our stuff right here, right? And you notice the places that you're stuck in times when you're confronted with, like you said, where you screwed up. And that song just to me was so powerful, and how we all have that choice to avoid it or to get unstuck, facing it, seeing it. And anyway, that was so beautiful.
Thank you.
I think that is the spiritual awakening, really, that day that you decide, right?
I love that. Decide.
I'm going to get unstuck.
Yeah, I love that. It's a decision. It's in making the decision, going, okay, it all starts right here, right now. Like from this day forward, I'm going to embrace what's going on, who I am, what I'm feeling, what's possible, and I'm going to move forward now. And like that's huge power, is making that decision.
It's empowering, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than being the victim of the circumstances, even if they're your own making, it's empowering to say, I have a choice.
Right? Like, don't forget that right now, that you still have a choice. And maybe this is making that more apparent than ever and more challenging than ever, but it's never been truer. You have the choice. What do you want to make your life now? How do you want to spend your days? It could even just be, what do you want to put your thought on all day? What do you want to fill your life with? How do you want to reach out to people? Like, what do you want to give while you're here?
That is excellent advice for the spiritual journey. Thank you so much, Justin. One of the questions, too, that I wanted to ask you, and something that I know everybody's dying to know, is, being a songwriter, that's got to be like the most heart-wrenching job in the world, because it's got to be some spiritually wrenching, like face-to-face with who you are, how you're going to express it, getting it out there, and then letting other people hear it.
Oh, man.
It's like scary.
Right.
So how do you do that? Like, where do you get that strength and that bravery to do that?
Gosh, so many great questions there. First of all, it's definitely a spiritual journey. Has that been emphasized and underlined by just having my own roots in a spiritual tradition? Yeah, because then you see the connection. You see, what just the spiritual path is and what the artistic path is, what they both require of you is a questioning of self, and meaning and just these bigger things. And so there's definitely parallels, and even last week I was questioning it all. Like it's this thing that's just part of it, and you're right. It takes some courage and bravery to. Isn't this strange? It takes some courage and bravery just to like listen to yourself sometimes, just to be like, something's going on in me, because we're so busy. There's so much going on. There's so much to keep up with. Just today I realized, like, oh man, in some way we're sort of like scrolling on our lives, like you do on your phone or Facebook, we're just moving through things, boom, boom, boom. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Few seconds, boom, boom, boom. And, to be a songwriter, to write a song, you have to first listen. You have to be aware. You have to either hear something calling to you or reach out for it, right? And then to be with it long enough, I like in my upbringing a little bit of like kind of Bible experience, and so some of those stories are archetypical for me. They're great frameworks. They're just lessons, and one is like Jacob and the angel, how Jacob wrestles with this spiritual idea the whole night until the day breaks. I always love that, because it wasn't like, oh, just do it till morning. It was like, stay up all night, rock and roll. It was like until a new day, a new light, a new perspective, like breaks, like dawns.
It's a breakthrough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That just reminded me of one of my favorite quotes, which I have written down here. It's the Buddhist nun Pema Chödrön. You know her? She's written one of the best books ever called When Things Fall Apart, which I'm going to put down below in the description box so people can find it if they haven't read it already.
Cool.
But anyway, her thing is fear is a natural reaction to moving closer to the truth.
Yes.
And tell me, how do you interpret that?
Oh man, John Mayer, fear is a friend who's misunderstood. Even Stephen Pressfield in The War of Art, how this fear that comes up in the pursuit of something noble or something artistic, it's a compass. It points us. And so it takes some retraining to interpret that and go, oh, I'm scared of something here. There must be something really meaningful on the other side, something that I really want,
Wow, you're getting to me with this. This is like, we all know fear, right? It's the number one thing in our lives, the killer, yeah. And I think so many of us are feeling it right now. It's like we're on the edge of the unknown with so much uncertainty. And what's your mechanism for coping with any fear that comes up for you, and how have you been handling that these days? Because I think we're all a little raw right now.
Oof, totally. I've been performing probably for 20, 25 years, and fear is and nerves are a big part of that journey. And, I don't know why I sort of had a much more natural ability to manage that fear. It didn't mean I didn't have it. People even someone asked me the other week, do you still get nervous when you perform? I feel something. But what it is and what it amounts to, I've gotten control of it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, specifically in music, when you practice something enough, you're folding it into your subconscious, into your muscle memory, so that when it comes time to the performance, you can rely on that, hopefully, for just the performance that life is. When those opportunities come up and we make choices, I guess when I got nervous when I was a teenager performing, I could have just stopped and put the guitar down and walked away. I know many of us have in our lives. We got scared on stage, we forgot those lines, and we ran off stage. And we feel that, and we go, what's going on with my life? What's going on? Because we do seek that equilibrium, right? That balance. But in knowing that we're going to talk about equilibrium today, since that's such a central theme for you, I just checked in on the definition of that, and felt this really cool confirmation that it's a balance of opposing influences. And it doesn't mean that those influences always remain in the same state. Balance is a moving target. And so there's really, to me, that's exciting, because there's this aliveness you have to be in balance. This constant engagement. And to me, that's life itself. It's being fully engaged with life and not turning off and being I'm going to go to sleep.
Just finding, like you said, the balance and equilibrium. And I love that word equilibrium. For me, it's the total reason why we're all here, is to find that sweet spot, that vital center. And you're right, it's always going to change. So,
right? I mean, we are this constellation, this connection of stories and points and feelings and meaning and destiny. It's
wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and so sometimes all that swirling around, or it's reconfiguring, or it's getting pulled on by some celestial body, just to sort of make an astronomical metaphor.
What sign are you? I gotta know.
What sign do you think I am based on that? I always love asking people.
Well, that sounds like
guess.
a Pisces now.
Oh. Okay, you know a lot about this. No, I'm a Taurus.
Oh, yay!
Yeah.
No, Taurians. Yeah, that's all about beauty.
Yeah.
Yeah. We love to bring beauty to the world.
Yeah, and that's enough just to be look at this soulful beauty of this moment or this sound, and how much can you relish in that and enjoy it? Yeah, like that's it. That's what I love.
So I want to ask you what I love to ask, because, like you said before, equilibrium is like my heart and soul. That's what I name my business. That's how I operate my life, in balance and harmony as much as I can. And I want to know, where were you and what were you doing the last time that you felt you were in that harmonious, beautiful space of balance?
Yeah, I've had many amazing days like that, and I know for sure on those days I took a spiritual shower.
Beautiful.
I attended to my spirit, and I made sure that was in order before really proceeding. And that could just be looking, listening, and then from there, where does that lead me? And that's where I go. Instead of just imposing, I gotta do this, whenever I do that, it just doesn't, I don't know, I burn out, it doesn't feel good. And so those days are when I've started from within and let everything expand outward, and that feels super balanced. The creative, artistic path just pumps me up, like just to be in touch with something and then pay attention to it, and then it becomes something. That's like magic. It's creation itself.
I know I spoke in the beginning of the podcast about this is your mission, and I believe when you have that mission, you cannot not do it to its fullest, your fullest potential and your fullest purpose. So tell us then, award-winning songwriter, come on, tell me about your award-winning title and how you did it.
Oh, how funny. I've written songs. I started writing songs when I was 5 or 6, because I started playing then. My dad was playing. He wrote his own songs, and so I think my younger self was just like, oh yeah, you can write your own songs, of course. So songwriting's been there for a while. It wasn't until like 2013 when I wrote a particular song with my cousin Nancy Montgomery, the Billboard Top 10 country artist in the 80s. She did some cool stuff. She had heard some things I was working on and reached out and said, hey, I love what you're doing. Would you like to write? And I was like, of course. And so we wrote this song together. So I was so impressed with this song and so blown away. Then I finally made the effort and submitted it to songwriting competitions. Before that, I hadn't submitted anything. Not that I didn't like my stuff, but I don't know. Something about this one, I was like, I'm going to do this. And then so I did, and it won 5 international songwriting awards. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it was such a lesson, so many lessons, but one I'm thinking of is like, we often don't know like what something will mean to others until we let it out and let them hear it. And this song has inspired so many people. It's elicited the most comments from my fans. It's like one of my friends had a tour in Afghanistan, and he said he listened to it 5 times a day and it got him through. It's like, that's,
Amen to that.
Right?
Wow, that's amazing. Can we hear it?
Of course.
Come on. We
Of course.
want to hear it. You're getting us all excited.
Yeah. And I'll play it.
Awesome. All right.
This is called Finally Here, and this is about, being on your journey, whatever that is in life, but there's this moment when you decide that you want to return to home, or whatever home is for you. And this song, you're right, like you said earlier, I do wish so much hope for people. The hope here is that when you make that decision and turn home, you will feel welcomed and received. This is Finally Here. Miles and miles of highway, trials and trials have been my path, pressing on with no direction, through the fire, the smoke and ash. Tears 'cause my tears have rained with sorrow, cursed each day with every breath. Now here I stand with no tomorrows. I've been lost but found at last. And the heavens say yeah, and the preacher says amen, and the angels say where the hell have you been? With arms wide open, we'll all be there. Welcome home, you're finally here. Piece by piece I started over. Step by step I made my way. All you said was just keep going, don't give up, it's not too late. And the heavens say yeah, and the preacher says amen, and the angels say where the hell have you been? With arms wide open, we'll all be there. Welcome home, you're finally here. Ooh, well, I was broken. Ooh, but I've been saved. Ooh, words unspoken made me whole. Amazing grace. Here I stand, my song I'm singing. Raise my voice for all to hear. Your sweet, sweet love, my sweet redemption. I can hear you loud and clear. And the heavens say yeah, and the preacher says amen, and the angels say where the hell have you been? And the heavens say yeah, and the preacher says amen, and the angels say where the hell have you been? With arms wide open, we'll all be there. Welcome home, you're finally here. With arms wide open, we'll all be there. Welcome home, you're finally here.
How joyful is that song?
Yeah.
I really get that sense of coming home, even to yourself in a way,
Yeah.
you know, just like, hey, I'm okay with myself, and thank God. Justin, it's just been so awesome being with you, and I want to thank you for just being my friend, and that compassion that you put out into the world is really a gift that you have, that you share with others, and I want to thank you as a mom and also as a human being. And I'm going to put all of your information in the description box below so everybody knows where to find you. And where's your next place where people can tune in? Maybe a concert? I know you're doing a lot online.
Yeah, I post that on my website, justinfroese.com. You'll see that in the comments. But I've been doing most of my live streams on Facebook. So if you find me on Facebook, my profile or my music page, I go live from each of those. And I've been going live every Saturday morning from 8 to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Facebook. So if you want to check out a performance, tune in Saturdays.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right, Justin, thank you so much for being here on Everyday Soul. Great to have you here.
Yeah. Everyday show. Yeah. Everyday show.
Our Everyday Soul music was written and performed by the talented Froese Taylor. For more information on Froese's music, check out the description box below.